That's right. Welcome in Jamie, Manti, Mike G, and Kyle. Lots to get to. We have this really tricky balance going on right now. We want to give the Seahawks their flowers and their due. It was parade day yesterday in downtown Seattle. But we also have 31 other teams that we have to tend to and treat them kindly. You know, it's like they don't get the parade. They don't get the Lombardi. We have to answer some of their questions. Manti, are you ready to cook on some 31 other teams besides the Seahawks
I'm ready to cook. At the end of the day, Jamie, it's 0-0 now. It's celebrated the Super Bowl. Now we're back to 0-0. We're back to the beginning. Let's build it again. Come on.
All the Seahawks have to regulate today after celebrating in the streets of Seattle yesterday. And we loved watching the speeches that unfolded inside Lumen Field. Of course, one of those went to GM John Schneider, who had an opportunity at the microphone to hand out praise to his team, which of course included his running back, who was going to enter free agency next month, but now he's a Super Bowl MVP, Kenneth Walker III. Before John Schneider got into it, he disclosed a bit of information about K9.
Ken Walker being the MVP. Let's go! Woo! He tried negotiating with me 5 minutes ago. It was really weird. Anyway, hey, MVP, MVP, MVP.
He's like, no. Yeah. You can't hold up the red Solo cup and say something like that and not have the player respond. I'm just going to direct quote, must have been the liquor because he drinking because I never said that. Mike Garafolo, do you want to do the crying emoji translation or do you want to actually translate that for us?
I think Kenneth Walker, I don't think he got the joke. I think John was just making a joke. If you know Schneider, it's kind of him all the way to the red Solo cup. He's just joking, Kenneth. And Kenneth just hired new agents. He's with David Canner and Ness McGraby of Arrow Sports, which David then replied to my tweet and said, things that never happened for 200, Alex, or something like that. The real, sober, red Solo-less cup negotiations are coming for Kenneth Walker.
No joke for him, dude.
No joke.
That's his life, his future. Like, I don't be joking. There's a lot of things you can joke about. Like, that's my deal, man. I'm not talking about squat. Like, he dead serious. All of a sudden, the record scratch.
And we interviewed him the other day. Like, his father not showing up to any football games until the Super Bowl. Kenneth is the same kind of mentality. That dude is all business. So I think this, you know, it's actually, I'd like to put them together and do a reality show. That'd be a fun odd couple. Right?
It's like the deadpan scale. Like Kenneth Walker III went real flat, real quick. He's like, no, I'm not making any faces about this. I'm not going to give away any clues. Congratulations once again to Kenneth Walker III as your new contract, whoever it may be with, has to honor the fact that you are a Super Bowl MVP. But that is a part of a larger conversation that we have to have about trade opportunities, unrestricted free agents, offseason moves that are going to go down. Manti, please bring to the class your most fascinating storyline that you have deemed so entering this offseason.
I look up there, Jamie, at Buffalo, and that's been a storyline that I've been fascinated with since the game ended against the Broncos. From leaving Sean McDermott, who had 10-plus wins for 7 seasons, had 8 of the 9 seasons had a playoff appearance, 2 AFC championships. They move on from him. You know how much the locker room loved him. But then there's the press conference with Mr. Terry Pegula and Brandon Beane, and how awkward that got. And then you hired Joe Brady. Now, the thing about Joe, that's always with the offense, but now you have to stand in front of a locker room in front of a meeting room of 53 others and command that. I immediately think of Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen was our defensive coordinator in New Orleans, and then he became the head coach. And there was just a hard transition there. Now, Joe Brady did say, I can't wait to talk crap to Josh Allen. My question is this: Josh Allen, when you start talking crap to him, going to look at you and be like, Joe, just stop. Like, that's not...
We talked about in the last couple of days here, because Clint Kubiak announced as the new head coach of the Raiders, Max Crosby. Max Crosby, to me, is a fascinating story. You know how, like, Jalen Hurts, he's had a new offensive coordinator every year. We do that with all those guys. Like, coordinators, 8 in 7 years or whatever. These are head coaches for a great player. And the reason I find it fascinating is it's almost a be careful what you wish for type situation, because I don't know where you could wind up potentially as Max Crosby that could then guarantee what you're looking for, which is postseason success. I'd expect the Eagles, who made a potential play for Micah Parsons, although the Cowboys were never going to do it, I would expect the Eagles to be in the mix here for Max Crosby. What's that situation in Philly, right? Like, are you guaranteed to make the playoffs in Philadelphia? I have no idea. And there are a number of other teams that he's been connected to and could be connected to. There's also the Clint Kubiak. I had coffee with him the other day. It fired me up. Could I potentially just settle him and say, look, I know it's restarting again, but we're getting the #1 overall pick, which is expected to be a quarterback in Fernando Mendoza, and we can get this thing going quickly. Can they sell him on staying where he is currently? It's a non-0% chance in my mind. Probably lower than 50, but it's just there are so many reasons why I find this fascinating, including Crosby sort of scoffing at anybody out there, including me potentially right now, talking about his future.
Well, we're going to talk about that future a lot. And I just have to look at the recent past. We're talking about the future. Did we really have a Final Four where 3 of the 4 quarterbacks had never won a playoff game coming into this season? That was weird, guys. We had Stafford, okay, like Unk, and then it's Darnold and it's Drake, and then we had the Bo Nix / Jared Stidham. My question is there a return of the mega powers next year? Is it more like, all right, that was a really strange year, but come on, Mahomes, let's get Allen deep in the playoffs, let's get Lamar deep in the playoffs, let's get Burrow back. Is it going to be that? Because this isn't going away. Like, I don't think Drake May and the Mike Vrabel Patriots are going away. I don't think Caleb is going away. Jane Daniels did go away, but I think he's coming back. Like, there's those guys, that new class, they're like pushing out the veterans to try to get their positions on the varsity. So I just look at these. Who has the biggest show me year? Is it Josh Allen with the new coach? Is it Mahomes off the injury and off the worst season they've had? Is it Lamar? I have to point out Deontay Lee, who wrote a piece for The Ringer, saying Lamar now is like where Peyton was in the mid-2000s, where it's like, all I need is a Super Bowl from you. I'm not interested in anything else. You've done it all. And I'd say the same for Josh Allen, all those guys. Just like, we know you're good, but we're so far into your career now that we have to start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel of your prime. Like, show us a Super Bowl and show it to us now. Or maybe we do start looking for some of those young up-and-comers who, many of them have been if not closer than you have been. So I want to know if the new guard is in next year or if it's really the old guys saying, wait. And the fact that I'm even referring to Lamar Jackson as one of the old guys is nuts. But he really is in comparison.
It's interesting, though, to include Joe Burrow in some of those VOs because, Kyle, do you have to honor the fact that it has to be a Super Bowl win, or do you take Burrow off that Lamar and Josh list because they haven't even made it to one? So Burrow gets there in his second year against the Rams, but he loses. Do you feel like he's lower on the list in terms of requirements to establish that in their career?
Well, everything there is just so weird in Cincinnati. It's the defense, the future. They thought they would maybe have a new coach. They don't. I'll give them this. They have really good, really expensive wide receivers. So that's fun because it's really good in the Pro Bowl game because he throws to his receivers all the time and scores touchdowns. I would love to see them in a playoff game this year. So I do include him in. No points for getting to a Super Bowl as a young guy and losing. Not when you're Burrow's talents. Like that's a guy. If Joe Burrow doesn't win a Super Bowl in his career, that's a great shame, as good as he is.
The one guy I was thinking about this last week is Mahomes. What was he thinking watching everything, watching all of this,
bizarre,
watching a Super Bowl that he's not in, while starting on an ACL rehab? Now, the great ones really can internalize a lot of things and can also invent a lot of things in their head. I'm sure even Michael Jordan had some they doubted us type moments along the way. I'm sure Mahomes is putting that in his mind right now to help fuel himself for the recovery. I would love to have spent just one day last week during Super Bowl week with Patrick Mahomes, sitting in on his recovery, because you know what's happening in his brain, and you know how everything that he's experienced over the last couple of weeks here is going to fuel a potential return in 26.
I keep thinking of, you guys list off all these things. Buffalo, you mentioned the Chiefs. We have like these 2 divisions in the South, in the AFC and the NFC, that we just never talk about when it comes to fascinating. Does anything ping there, whether it be the fact that, Jackson, you're nodding at something. Go.
I really think that what is coming out of the AFC South, with Robert Saleh going down there to Tennessee, you saw what Liam Cohen was able to do at Jacksonville. You already know what's going down in Houston. I mean, for the first half of the season, Indianapolis was the hottest team in the NFL.
Right.
I think that going into next year, the AFC South is going to be one of those divisions that I'm going to have my eyes on. Why? Because now you have a whole bunch of quality coaches there. You have a bunch of young talent as far as the offense and some of the best defensive play down there in that division. And you got Liam Cohen specifically with what they do at Jacksonville in his first year as a head coach, or the first year offensive coordinator, first year defensive coordinator. To do what they did over there, I thought that the Jacksonville Jaguars were pretty dangerous going into this playoff. Now their inexperience showed against a really good Buffalo Bills team. But going into year 2, how do they build off of that? I think that AFC South division, Mike G, is going to be one to watch out for.
I'll give you your NFC South storyline. How about the Falcons and their quarterback situation right now with Michael Penix coming off another ACL injury? I mentioned this on NFL Game Day morning on Sunday. I'm not ruling out a potential return of Kirk Cousins to Atlanta. I'd expect there at least to be conversations because even though that contract was structured so he's a free agent early, and there are a lot of seats around the league, including potentially up there in Minnesota for him to fill, it sort of makes a lot of sense for both sides because Penix is not expected to be ready before the start of the season, might not be ready before the start of the season here, and Cousins played some winning football down the stretch. And one of the teams that did inquire about a potential trade with the Falcons last year was the Browns. Head coach at the time, Kevin Stefanski, I'm told he was a big part of that inquiry early on. The Falcons shut it down. It became clear that they weren't going to trade Cousins. But now Stefanski's the coach with the Atlanta Falcons, with Matt Ryan, by the way, who knows a lot about quarterbacking now, overseeing the football operations. That's a fascinating storyline to me.
Well, and I was going to reference, I thought you were going to say seats at the table on TV, because Kirk Cousins showing promise as a broadcaster.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And Matt Ryan now evacuates his, and now all these moves